Hello, my name is Cesar Saavedra. I'm a technical marketing manager at GitLab. In this segment of the presentation, I'm going to be covering a new capability called Fire Webhook on Feature Flag Change. This feature was introduced in 13.6, and it consists of basically generating an event when there's a feature flag activation or deactivation. This event, in turn, it invokes this newly introduced webhook. And the webhook receiver can then take some action as a result of this invocation. Why does it matter for customer and prospects as a developer or as someone that wants to monitor the enabling and disabling of a feature flag? You can use this new feature, this new webhook. As when using this feature, you can take some action as a result of the invocation of this webhook. You could, for example, kick off a CI/CD pipeline. You can send a message to Slack or to any other ChatOps platform. You can send an email or text. You can also update and process, some application performance monitoring solution that you may have, and you can also do business activity monitoring updates and processing as well. This capability streamlines the processes that need to take a feature flag being updated, enable or disable in this case, into account. Here are some resources to learn more about this feature. There's a link to the documentation of the issue. Some things to follow, a couple of links there about testing webhooks and troubleshoot webhooks from the GitLab platform. There's also a sample for a webhook receiver that you can install on your laptop, and a link to a cloud-based webhook receiver that requires no installation, which is what I used for this example on how to show you how it works. So step one, you can set up your webhook, and I'm using the site called webhook.site for this, and you set up a webhook there. You get the URL, then you go to GitLab settings webhooks window, and you basically paste that URL, and that's step three. And also in that screen, you need to scroll down and make sure you select feature flags events. You select that checkbox, and then you click on add webhook, and that will add the webhook so that when a feature flag is enabled or disabled, that webhook is invoked. And the step four, to test it out, if you already have an existing feature flag in this case, you can enable it and disable it, and then you will see the webhook being called as a result of that event. All right, so the next capability I'd like to go over is called automatic rollback in case of failure. This was introduced in GitLab 13.7, and it's basically the automatic rollback in case a critical alert is detected. So this is done, by the GitLab platform. And what gets rolled back is the most recent successful deployment. It's selected and redeployed. So why does it matter for customers and prospects? This capability allows SREs and operators to set up critical alerts in production, so that when those alerts are triggered in a problematic deployment, let's say is a threshold for the amount of memory that your application is using, GitLab will roll it back to the most recent successful deployment. This automation eases the described workflow above for SREs and operators. It also serves like a second line of defense for code updates that pass CI tests and are deployed to production. Here are some resources to learn more about this specific capability. There's a link for the documentation and issue, and I will paste a link to the demo once it's ready. Some things to follow. There is a link to the progressive delivery direction that talks about where we're heading with these type of capabilities, and also the post-deployment monitoring epic that contains a list of all the related work items that are within progressive delivery and include this capability, and capabilities like this one too. Things to keep in mind, the rollback is skipped if a deployment is running when the alert is detected, and also a rollback can happen only once in 3 minutes. If there are multiple alerts detected at once, only one rollback is performed. Okay, now let's move on to the demo. So here you see a project called Prod Manager Spring, and I'm logged on as Devon. He is a DevOps engineer. And first thing we need to do is we need to enable automatic deployment rollbacks. So as you can see here, it's already enabled. And what this will do is if there's a critical alert triggered, the rollback, there will be an automatic rollback done by the platform to the last successful deployment. So that's already set. Well, one more thing I want to show you is what I'm going to be deploying by starting this pipeline in a minute. It introduces some changes, and the changes are here. In the index HTML file, the headings of the table are all in capital letters. And there's also a misspelling here. So those will be the changes that are those are the changes in master and the ones that I will be pushing by creating or running a new pipeline. So we go here. And as you can see, there's been 2 successful deployments earlier today. Please ignore these cancel once I started them by accident. And now we're going to run a pipeline. And while that's running, let's go to the operations environment, actually metrics. And create an alert. So let's create an alert here. Let's make sure that this is the total memory usage. And let's make sure to create an alert that will be triggered. So let's make, let's see, the average is 2.61. So, and right now it's 2.45. So let's make it 2. So 2 right there. Okay, so it detected that it's below the threshold. So it should fire an alert. It hasn't fired yet. Let's see. Okay, so the pipeline is running. Okay, so now that the pipeline has completed, the deployment has taken place, and let's see if the alerts has come in. Yep, there's a critical alert that already happened a few minutes ago. So let's see if that triggered a new deployment. So let's go to environments. Now notice here that the job that was executed is actually not the job in the pipeline. So if you look at the pipeline, let's go to the pipeline. So the pipeline that executed here 7 minutes ago, it finished. It has an automatic deployment to production. This is not a manual step. Okay. Now, what I would like you to notice here is that this was updated 8 minutes ago, right? So it was updated after this pipeline completed, which means that the critical alert triggered an automatic rollback. And also notice that the job is a job that does not belong to the pipeline that we just ran, right? This is, in fact, let's go there. And this job is actually a job of uh, the last successful pipeline. So the automatic rollback has taken place. Yeah, so the latest successful deployment included the edit, and the new product have a purple background. But if you notice, the titles do not have, they are not in capital letters like we saw earlier, which is what we pushed in the pipeline that actually was automatically rolled back. That's all I have. Thank you very much.